As it's obvious from the title, Anime Empyrean brings you the top 10 anime where boy always protect the girl he loves. Please feel free to comment below your valuable views. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, so that you won't be missing any of the amazing top 10 countdowns. Without wasting our time, let's begin our list. "15 years have passed since the war between humans and demons began. Dissatisfied with their slow advance into the demon realm, the hero abandons his companions to quickly forge ahead towards the Demon Queen's castle. Upon his arrival at the royal abode, the hero makes a startling discovery. Not only is the Demon Queen a woman of unparalleled beauty, but she also seeks the hero's help. Confused by this unexpected turn of events, the hero refuses to ally himself with his enemy, claiming that the war the demons have waged is tearing the southern nations apart. However, the Demon Queen rebutes, arguing that the war has not only united humanity, but has also brought them wealth and prosperity, providing evidence to support her claims. Furthermore, she explains that, if the war were to end, the supplies sent by the central nations in aid to the southern nations would cease, leaving hundreds of thousands to starve. Fortunately, she offers the hero a way to end the war, while bringing hope, not only to the southern nations, but also to the rest of the world, though she will need his assistance to make this a reality. Finally convinced, the hero agrees to join his now former enemy in her quest. Vowing to stay together through sickness and health, they set off for the human world. For 500 years, the taboo emperor, Arthur Gaz, ruled the Gaz Empire with an iron fist and conducted inhumane experiments on his own people. But his reign came to an end 5 years ago, when mighty warriors, later known as the Eight Heroes, defeated him in a battle for the capital. His death ended the 300-year-long war between the Gaz Empire and the Alliance of Six Nations. In the present day, Toru Akira is a former saboteur from the war who has difficulty settling into the peaceful world, as he cannot find a job where he can put his fighting skills to use. An opportunity appears before him, however, when he meets a white-haired wizard named Chaika Trabant. With a coffin on her back, she is searching for the scattered remains of her father in order to give him a proper burial, and she hires Toru and his adoptive sister Akari to help her. However, the Six Nations Alliance, which have now formed the Council of Six Nations, dispatches Alberic Gillette and his men from the Kleeman Agency to pursue and apprehend the late Emperor Gaz's daughter, Chaika. With the shocking revelation of Chaika's identity, the Akira siblings must choose between helping her gather the remains of the tyrannical emperor and upholding the peace the continent strives to maintain. Putting his life on the line, Willem leaves his loved ones behind and sets out to battle a mysterious monster, and even though he is victorious, he is rendered frozen in ice. It is during his icy slumber that terrifying creatures known as beasts emerge on the Earth's surface and threaten humanity's existence. Willem awakens 500 years later, only to find himself the sole survivor of his race, as mankind is wiped out. Together with the other surviving races, Willem takes refuge on the floating islands in the sky, living in fear of the beasts below. He lives a life of loneliness and only does odd jobs to get by. One day, he is tasked with being a weapon storehouse caretaker. Thinking nothing of it, Willem accepts, but he soon realizes that these weapons are actually a group of young leprechauns. Though they bear every resemblance to humans, they have no regard for their own lives, identifying themselves as mere weapons of war. Among them is Tholi Nota Seniorius, who is more than willing to sacrifice herself if it means defeating the beasts and ensuring peace. Willem becomes something of a father figure for the young leprechauns, watching over them fondly and supporting them in any way he can. He, who once fought so bravely on the front lines, can now only hope that the ones being sent to battle return safely from the monsters that destroyed his kind. Equipped with cutting-edge weaponry and specialized troops, a private military organization named Mithril strives to extinguish the world's terrorism and all threats to peace on Earth. The organization is powered by the Whispered, individuals who possess intuitive knowledge and the remarkable ability to create powerful devices and machinery. 17-year-old Sasuke Sagara, a sergeant working for Mithril, has been assigned to protect Kaname Chidori, a Whispered candidate. He is ordered to join her high school class and be as close to her as possible to prevent her from falling into the enemy hands, that is, if he can safely blend in with their fellow classmates without revealing his true identity. Sasuke, who was raised on a battlefield and has very little knowledge of an average high school student's lifestyle, must adapt to a normal school life to safeguard Kaname. However, enemy forces have already begun making their move, and Sasuke is about to find out that the adversary coming for the whispered girl may be a lot more familiar than he expects. Saya Otonashi is a seemingly ordinary girl living a mundane life with her adoptive family in Okinawa City. In fact, her only peculiarities are suffering from anemia and being unable to remember any of her life beyond the previous year. However, Saya's forgotten past quickly comes back to haunt her. One night, she is attacked at school by a creature that feeds on human blood. Just when all hope seems lost, a mysterious man named Haji appears and fends off the creature temporarily. But when her rescuer forces her to drink his blood, Saya suddenly enters a trance and slays the monster with ease, using her own blood as a catalyst. Saya then learns of an organization named Red Shield, founded for the sole purpose of defeating the hellish beasts. Now Saya and Haji must work together with Red Shield to fight these fearsome monsters and unlock the secrets to the girl's past. Based on an award-winning manga of the same name, Inuyasha follows Kagome Higurashi, a 15-year-old girl whose normal life ends when a demon drags her into a cursed well on the grounds of her family's Shinto shrine. Instead of hitting the bottom of the well, Kagome ends up 500 years in the past, during Japan's violent Sengoku period, with the demon's true target, a wish-granting jewel called the Shiken Jewel, reborn inside of her. After a battle with a revived demon accidentally causes the sacred jewel to shatter, Kagome enlists the help of a young hybrid dog demon-human named Inuyasha to help her collect the shards and prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Joining Kagome and Inuyasha on their quest are the orphan fox demon Shippo, the intelligent monk Moroku, and the lethal demon slayer, Sango. Together, they must set aside their differences and work together to find the power-granting shards spread across feudal Japan and deal with the threats that arise. In the backwater town of Bell Forest lives a 14-year-old boy named Renton Thurston. He desires to leave his home behind and join the mercenary group known as Eureka Seven, hoping to find some adventure to brighten up his mundane life. However, stuck between his grandfather's insistence to become a mechanic like him and the pressure of his deceased father's legacy, the only excitement Renton finds is in his pastime of riding the Traper wave particles that are dispersed throughout the air, an activity akin to surfing. Everything changes when an unknown object crashes through Renton's garage, discovered to be a light-finding operation, a robot capable of riding the Traper waves, specifically known as the Nervash Type 0. Its pilot is a young girl named Eureka, a member of the Eureka Seven, who requests a tune-up for the Nervash. Their meeting sparks the beginning of Renton's involvement with the Eureka Seven as he takes off alongside Eureka as the co-pilot of the Nervash. Princess Yona lives a life of luxury and ease, completely sheltered from the problems of the seemingly peaceful kingdom of Kauka. However, the sudden murder of the king and betrayal of her beloved cousin Suwon places Yona's life in mortal peril. Forced to escape only with Sun Hak, who is both her childhood friend and bodyguard, the naive princess soon discovers that Kauka is not the idyllic place she envisioned it to be. Poverty, strife, and corruption run rampant, making reclaiming the throne nothing more than a wishful fantasy given the kingdom's current state. Based on the popular manga by the same name, Akatsuki No Yona follows Princess Yona on a coming-of-age adventure as she faces the harsh realities of her kingdom. With only a mysterious legend to guide her, Yona must discover a way to restore Kauka to its former glory while being pursued relentlessly by the forces of the new king of Kauka. Justice and the enforcement of it is changed. In the 22nd century, Japan enforces the Sybil system, an objective means of determining the threat level of each citizen by examining their mental state for signs of criminal intent, known as their psycho pass. Inspectors uphold the law by subjugating, often with lethal force, anyone harboring the slightest ill will. Alongside them are enforcers, jaded inspectors that have become latent criminals, granted relative freedom in exchange for carrying out the inspector's dirty work. Into this world steps Akane Tsunemori, a young woman with an honest desire to uphold justice. However, as she works alongside veteran enforcer Shinya Kagami, she soon learns that the civil system's judgments are not as perfect as her fellow inspectors assume. With everything she has known turned on its head, Akane wrestles with the question of what justice truly is and whether it can be upheld through the use of a system that may already be corrupt. Fuu Kasumi is a young and clumsy waitress who spends her days peacefully working in a small tea house. That is, until she accidentally spills a drink all over one of her customers. With a group of samurai now incessantly harassing her, Fuu desperately calls upon another samurai in the shop, Mugen, who quickly defeats them with his wild fighting technique, utilizing movements reminiscent to that of breakdancing. Unfortunately, Mugen decides to pick a fight with the unwilling Ronin Jin, who wields a more precise and traditional style of sword fighting, and the latter proves to be a formidable opponent. The only problem is, they end up destroying the entire shop as well as accidentally killing the local magistrate's son. For their crime, the two samurai are captured and set to be executed. However, they are rescued by Fuu, who hires the duo as her bodyguards. Though she no longer has a place to return to, the former waitress wishes to find a certain samurai who smells of sunflowers and enlists the help of the now exonerated pair to do so. Despite initially disapproving of this idea, the two eventually agreed to assist the girl in her quest. Thus, the trio embark upon an adventure to find this mysterious warrior that is only if Fuu can keep Mugen and Jin from killing each other. Set in an alternate Edo period of Japan, Samurai Champloo follows the journey of these three eccentric individuals in an epic quest full of action, comedy, and dynamic sword fighting, all set to the beat of a unique hip-hop-infused soundtrack. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a great happy life. See you with another top 10 amazing video.